You'd have to have. You'd have to have one.
Right.
You'd have to have one at
Right.
Hamilton and probably one at.
But where do you stop? I mean,
You don't have to.
Right.
You're gonna have them all plastered all over.
And that was
I mean,
my
they're
thing.
all
I'm like, are we
reflective.
gonna put them in all the residential neighborhoods? I mean, because now we're taking away from their space and they're coming in further. I mean, we had a buck on Highlands. My husband went to work and there was a buck standing right at the stop sign.
What was traffic and safety's position on it?
They were same concept. They said no. That, again, they didn't feel that they needed to put up signs in every neighborhood to tell residents, you know, caution deer maybe in the neighborhood.
Well, that's, Mr. Worthing indicated that that funding was not available in his budget as well. And I would just throw it back out there that I'd rather have emergency funds for a parent who needs more autism signs than deer signs. Because
And I think maybe we reevaluate it if we see an increase in accidents or.
right, I just don't. I'm not aware of anybody hitting a deer up there.
Yeah, and I asked and they said no, that there hasn't been any incidences up there, but I understand, you know, the residents' frustration. She's looking out for maybe potential accidents. So I totally get it because you do have children that live up there that are playing, but at the same time, you typically don't have a deer and a child playing at the same time.
And the street is 15 miles an hour in the school zone.
But do people follow it? But we know the answer to that. I follow it, but yeah.
And we just did a traffic study up there. We
Yeah.
just had the machine up.
How fast were the deer going?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out if they could read the sign.
Going in which direction?
They're warming
They
up.
would
for Christmas.
stop and then they could go. I don't know.
Okay. Do you, since you've been talking to her, do you want to just reach out? to
I
her?
did reach out to her prior to, just so that she understood that the traffic and safety at that point had said, no, they weren't
Okay.
putting signs up. But I did tell her that I would bring it to the council, which, you know, I am doing so that you guys could, you know, work forward with that.
Okay.
Okay. Other than that, that's all I have.
And then to that, on the traffic and safety, I know there was the concern with the tenant above that restaurant. I'm not sure.
On Joey's, correct?
yes.
Yes. So again, they didn't feel that it was something that the city should get involved in. And I did explain that to her and
Okay, so you did speak to her.
yeah, and I
Okay.
do feel her frustration as well.
Okay.
But at the same time, you know, he needs to talk to his employees and tell them not to park in the city parking lots, that is for his tenants. But again, it's not even guaranteed for the tenants because it's
Right.
overnight parking, you know, parking for anybody in the
Right.
city.
How much parking is there for overnight parking?
Full front lot.
The whole full front?
No, there's only 8 spots,
Oh, it's 8?
only 8 spots.
I mean,
Yeah.
not even from a standpoint from their tenants, but you know, with an establishment there, with the bar being there, it doesn't make sense to expand that a little bit. I mean, I'd rather see somebody be more apt to leave a car there if they've had one too many, and take an
Right.
Uber or take a ride home. You know, I understand it would benefit the residents, and you want to promote or you want to kind of promote some responsibility there too. Does it maybe make sense to maybe expand that a little bit so there is some overnight parking over there? I mean, it's a good business, it's a thriving business. There is a bar. Does it make sense to offer a little additional parking right there?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if we open it up, I'm trying to think, I think the 8 spots are closest to St. Francis.
Right.
So if you open it up and let's say you take the first and the second row closest, then you know, then you've got an additional, we'll say 8, I believe is what Captain Falls told me. So I mean, if you do that, then you have additional parking for his employees that currently work there. Because that's what's happening. The tenants are coming home from work, but the employees that are working there are parking in those spots. Because they may not be leaving until 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
I mean, to an extent, yeah. Mr. Dallas should probably instruct his employees to please not use the overnight parking spots. That,
Right.
you know, leave them open for the tenants that are there overnight, unless he's working as employees overnight. But I think in addition to that, A little give and take from our side too would be a bad idea. And give them a couple of extra parking spots over there for overnight parking to accommodate tenants, to accommodate people that, might want to leave their car overnight.
Well, and it's, anybody, right? I mean, you have Main Street. Let's say you're out having a good time over there, but you park in that particular lot.
Yeah.
Right? We're preventing an accident from happening and we're allowing somebody to park there. So I can take it back to the traffic and safety. We're meeting at the end of the month and see what their thoughts are, as well as far as opening it up. Their thoughts originally was no, that they just wanted to leave the 8 spots, but
I mean, would that be, I guess, bring it back to them to make sure it wouldn't interfere with anything else, but would that kind of come back at us? Is that an ordinance that we would be able to do with the repealing of the ordinance? I'm just thinking of the sake of not putting out 2 separate ads in the publications.
Right.
right. I mean, I
I mean,
can,
it's minimal,
Hmm.
but we'd have to pull what the ordinance says. I'm sure it only says those 8.
it does, I
spots.
believe, is what Captain Foles said.
Yeah.
So
if we're
we would have to
amending
do
it,
an ordinance
yes,
change.
there would have to be. I mean, I see your point. We could publish them both
Right.
and vote on it on the 16th. So what does everybody think?
I can reach out to Captain Foles if you want,
Yeah.
and just get his feedback on it. But personally, I mean, the more parking, the better, because we don't allow overnight parking and we don't adjust it if there's, no snow. We currently leave it as it is.
Right.
So, and I understand why we leave it that way, but
If it's a public lot or it's a city owned lot, it's not like we're pulling them off the street to do the street
Right.
cleaning. It's a matter of
yeah.
just keeping it open for that opportunity.
I mean, I think we should give them the additional parking, but
Okay, so we have that recommendation. I mean, does the council desire that we just publish the ordinance? Or do you want to take it back to traffic and safety?
I'd be in favor of just publishing it.
Just publish it.
yeah,
think
I mean, we might as well, if everybody's in agreement with it,
Okay.
and we can just publish it. Mr. Newman?
Sure.
So, Mr. Clerk, did you hear that?
So again, where are we published? I mean, what parking spots are we adding?
The
Overnight
the city lot adjacent to St. Francis, where we currently have 8 spots. We're sure that it's 8, right?
I believe it is 8, yes. And I can verify that.
And the proposal is to add an additional 8, correct? So if you could just pull the council that they're in agreement for publishing this.
Okay, again, and this is for the lot adjacent to St. Francis on Seymour and Niagara. I'm sorry, Seymour and Adam. There's 8 overnight parking spots. This is for an additional 8 spots for overnight parking. Newman,
Aye.
Cameron,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Okay, we'll go ahead and publish that also.
Perfect. Anything else? Anything
No,
else?
I'm all set.
Mr. Rautenstrau?
That was actually the only other thing I wanted to bring up. It was about the parking, so.
Oh,
that
okay,
was it.
good. Do you want to reach out? Do you want to reach out to Chris? Did she?
I
reach out
can,
to
it
you?
doesn't matter to me, 'cause she sent.
She
me.
sent you,
Yeah.
okay, all right, so just tell her.
Yep.
Taking care of it. Mr. Mylan?
Nothing now. I'll update everybody on the landfill at the end of the meeting.
Okay. I had a few things and then I'm gonna turn it over to the mayor. As far as the budget, are there any additional, excuse me, modifications to the mayor's proposed budget?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Mylan?
We had talked about adding carriers for the police vests. And in the correspondence from Chief Strasberg, oh my goodness. Instead of outfitting the entire department in 1 year, his suggestion was to kind of put it on a rotation, so it's not a huge expenditure every year. And in the email that we all receive, there are 6 officers this year who are due for a new carrier to amend his budget line and add in $1,908 to cover that.
Okay,
That was from the email. Chief Strasburg.
so 1,908.
Yes.
Is it the council's desire that we take that from the contingency line that we designated?
Absolutely.
I thought we had discussed that that's where it was gonna come from.
Perfect. I just want to double check. Okay,
Madam President, which line is that gonna affect the police budget?
so that's gonna, 1,908 on the equipment line. I don't have the line number. And it's going to come from the council contingency where we have 37 change currently in.
Thank you.
Anything else on the budget? Yes.
I talked to Mr. Worthling in passing yesterday, and he was gonna get a little more information for us in regards to the mechanic scanner. I think we talked about it and said, does that justify buying the scanner for the amount of scans that they actually do? He kind of might think it does justify it with the amount that they do. It's something they would use frequently. It's something that's constantly updated.
Okay,
I'd like to, ask for the liberty of until the next meeting to get more of that information back from him.
Yeah.
Because I think that might benefit the mechanics at DPW, and they're servicing all of our vehicles
yeah.
across the board. It could be a long-term money saver for what they're doing.
Even if you get it before next meeting, I would make the changes to the resolution
Okay.
for the 16th, because we'll have to adopt the budget by the 16th.
Gotcha.
So that'd be good.
I'll reach out to him tomorrow then.
Okay. All right.
And Madam President, I just want to reiterate the change to the police. Again, it's $1,908. And that's gonna go to the police department's 202 equipment line, and it's coming from the council contingency.
Correct,
Thank you.
which is 464.
Correct.
Okay, anything else on the budget? So if there are any changes or proposals, let's send everything to Jim so that we can have the resolution for our next meeting on the 16th. Okay,
My only concern was the delinquent taxes and we had quite an increase in the sales tax revenue. I mean, together it's about $500,000, in revenue. I mean, is that accurate? I mean, do we really feel that that's accurate?
Bill
My
is,
big concern is sales tax. I mean, I don't know what's really gonna happen.
Well, I went down this year on sales tax. And that's why from last year to this year, it looks like it's such a large jump. Because I went down 2%, the factor into for COVID, and we're up, I think 28.9%. And in a normal year, we see 2 to 3% growth each year. So the sales tax number, the reason why it looks like it's such a large jump is because I went down 2% from 2019 to 2020, or 2020 to 2021. So I put the sales tax number back up to where it should have been had there been a normal 2% increase, and then added 2% to that.
Even speaking to Bill, if you look at it, that's conservative. estimate.
That's,
The trend
that's
is-
still
The trend is
conservative.
even going kind of.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted.
And I mean, eventually we're gonna-
Be way under and then all of a sudden. we have a
Right.
problem here. That's all.
And eventually we're gonna foreclose on some properties. I mean, just,
Probably inevitable.
yeah, so
Yeah.
there's approximately $1.6 million out there in delinquent taxes. So 600,000 is a really conservative number. it's probably gonna be more than that.
And treasurer also included the cost to
Right.
go after that
Yeah.
too, so there's an increase in that spend as well.
Anything else on the budget? Okay. I wanted to follow up from our public hearing on the rezoning application for 2030 and 40 Fillmore. I think we're okay to proceed. I know the developer, Mr. Newman, and I, we met with some residents, and a lot of the concerns the developer addressed, so I feel it was a good conversation. The residents are aware that we will be moving forward with the rezoning application if it's the council's desire. So I just wanted to pull the council to make sure that we were in agreement, and then we'll have the ordinance for our next meeting. So, Mr. Clerk, can you pull the council?
Yes, Madam President, this is for the, regarding the rezoning of 20, 30, and 40 Fillmore Avenue.
Correct.
The properties, the public hearing was already held, and the next step would be to, if the council so does desire to move forward with the zoning change. So Newman,
Aye.
Cameron,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye. All right, perfect. Mr. Newman, if you just want to give the residents a heads up that it will be on our agenda for 11/16. And then do you want to just let the developer know? Perfect. Last, Chief Stewart reached out to let me know that he has been in touch with Twin City Ambulance, and we are scheduled to meet on December 7th at 6:15. If anything changes, I will update everybody. But Mr. Rua, I just want to make sure that you're available for that conversation as well.
I will be available in December at present.
Thank you, Mr. Rua. And then I will reach out to Mr. Reese to make sure he's also available. Any other parties that we wish to have with us on December 7th? Right?
Is it gonna be a public meeting, or will that be in?
It'll be
Executive.
executive. The executive. Anything else? Okay. Over to you, Mayor.
The only thing I had was, I invited Mr. Pollock to come in. I know everybody's had kind of 2 weeks to digest Mr. Pollock's proposal, and I wanted to bring Mr. Pollock in to see if anybody had any questions, or if Mr. Pollock wanted to expand on anything outside of what was in the proposal package, so.
Sure. Here, there, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Wherever you're comfortable.
Dave Pollock, from CSS Construction and Development, obviously also with Dave Burke. Inside our proposal, if you recall, we indicated obviously the vacant land that currently houses the football fields and the baseball diamond. And obviously with our investment and the success of our project at 73 Niagara, kind of encouraged us to start looking for other opportunities in the city of Tonawanda, being 3 square miles, it's limited. But the one thing we did like is the opportunity to explore with you if in fact this site would be a preferred site to actually take out a portion of the site and leave the existing football field, the building that supports the football, and some passive green space behind that. And then to carve out what we would do is 8 unit buildings, all market rate. We have engaged a market study that supports what we're trying to do, and like to be able to keep this thing as a market rate, but what we like to consider as being an affordable market rate. If you look at 600 River Road, that roof and solar project did, was very successful, sits on the water. Rents were $1.50 a square foot. Took a little while for him to be fully leased up, but we like the price point of $1.36 a square foot. It works within our pro forma. Part of what our proposal would be is to be a total acquisition of about 400,000, which would be 150,000 just for the land itself. Leaving, which is this parcel inside here, and then the rest will be relocating the baseball diamond. And so with relocating the baseball diamond, I'm sure the board is familiar, it's alienation of parkland. So we would take the New York State steps to do a proper alienation of parkland. And if in fact, this is something that will be supportive of this board in the community, this project, we've already have met with our lenders, both interim, permanent. It's something that we are very well positioned to do. The very similar project, actually Dave Burke has completed. And what's nice about a project like that, it's a proven development that we've actually built. We know we can finance and we can deliver. The same property management company that is my company that is managing 72 East Niagara would do also the management of this as well. So again, I think it really comes down to we've on our own volition has gone in and taken the time to research it, to figure it out. We're now the ball is really in your court. If this is something that the city of Tonawanda is interested in, would like to do, we'd like to be the ones proceeding down that path. Again, no different than 72 East Niagara. If for some reason you don't want us there, you just walk away, it's fine. We walk there. So
You said eight units?
eight units, 7 2-bedrooms, one bedroom. 64 units altogether.
Okay.
And completely built all at once. I mean, that's
Built at once, yep. And again, the tax base, your guys' tax base is about $1.05 a unit, you're looking at a little over $80,000 a year. So the positiveness is you're not generating any taxes now. Now you're in a positive $80,000 a year. Plus now you're allowing, quality market rate housing, to come and be part of the city of Tonawanda.
absolutely.
If this is approved by the council, when would you anticipate moving forward and what's the duration of the project?
Yeah, so great question. So from our standpoint, talking with our lenders, and again, with Dave has already built this, we have this set of plans. We've reworked the set of building plans. To be honest with you, we can spit those in tomorrow. So we would like to be in the ground June, July, and be like a 1-year construction. So we'd like to turn that around, fully developed, within a year from construction. Now, again, from our standpoint, I'm a builder, but I also recognize the success of what Dave does for his market rate, and we joint ventures on a lot of different projects together. So I'm turning the whole construction over to him, which is kind of unusual for two builders working together. But the truth of the matter is he has built this, he's developed it, and so we would be our joint partners with this and moving forward.
And once it's completed, it would be the same property management company as 72 East Niagara, so it'd be all
Right.
kept up as well as that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and the one thing about 72 East Niagara, for those that know, when we opened up, we were fully leased in 3 weeks.
Right.
And we're always getting calls.
So do we have any conversation with the football clinic as far as this project is concerned?
Have I?
Anybody? I mean,
I haven't, because, one, we didn't want to bring something to you no different than 72 East Niagara. If we couldn't figure it out financially, economically, feasibility, market study analysis, lender standpoint. If we couldn't figure that out, then we're really kind of wasting all your guys' time. So now it's to make it public, and that's why I sent the proposal in. And we're ready to go. And so I haven't talked to anyone from the football. I didn't think that was really my role.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be,
it's
that
not,
would be the planner's
yeah,
office.
have we?
That's what I'm asking.
No, because there hasn't been,
Think about this project last.
there hasn't been
Well,
an
yeah, I mean, so
official.
would we, but
The reason I asked the question is for the retention pond, and I'm not sure currently where the teams practice. I do remember in the past that where that retention pond sits is right where they used to practice.
Well, this is parking lot.
The retention pond is,
Yeah.
so it's space between the, which I'm assuming is the football field and the.
Yeah.
This is the existing parking lot right now, and it's right here. So now the difference of what is being presented to you, I changed this where we're, and I apologize that I didn't have the right one, that we're encroaching here. We're keeping all of this under your control. And we're coming up just to the end of this, somewhere along here, which would be our property. This piece in the back would be level for the municipality.
Which is what they currently use that
Yeah.
for, back there. They use that back section.
It's all of this, so, and I will send tomorrow, Gina, if you want, I can send it directly to you. The revised site plan that shows that this comes across here, and then this football field, everything else, and all this parking is retained by you. So it would go like this, come across here like this, and you keep that. So they can practice in here and everything else.
So none of what you're proposing is taking away from what's already existing there, for example.
The only thing I'm taking away is your baseball diamond.
Right, which
But
you're
I'm gonna relocate
putting
that.
someplace else. And as it stands right now, it doesn't account, or that doesn't eliminate any of the parking that's there already, doesn't eliminate any of the seating
You
or
keep all of that.
spectator areas.
Your booth there, the press box. if you
Right.
wanna
Press
call it.
box. Sure.
If you had a highlighter, I could even highlight it right now, for you, but,
No,
I don't have a highlighter. I lifted it on today. I normally bring it.
okay, but I'll send it tomorrow.
Okay.
And then you could see exactly, and we section this off, so this way, if in fact you want to practice and stuff, you have one.
That's great.
And you'd begin the relocation of the diamond before the units, obviously.
Yeah,
And how
exactly.
long would that process take?
Well, I can't answer how long the alienation of parkland takes, but I would say we get that done in about 3 months. And then it would be, a good opportunity to be able to take that baseball diamond and try to get it, positioned and ready to go as soon as we can. Because obviously, we need to be able to have the right to build on it. We're not going to own it. It'll be, your guys, but, we would then build it out and we go from there.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, I mean, our leagues would be minimally impacted because that field's only used for league play.
Right.
So,
And like I had mentioned to everybody before, it would centralize the two
right.
softball diamonds that really get a lot of use right there at Kohler, so.
Right.
So,
I think this is a nice project. What does everybody think?
There's no zoning changes that would be needed for that area.
No,
Know that.
that's a great question. I think I really don't know. I didn't look into it.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm thinking if we did,
Hmm.
that would be something that we could be hopefully supportive.
Probably not unlike 72 East Niagara would be making it less or more restrictive than it is.
Exactly.
We'll double check that. I mean, I don't.
It's residential on both sides. I can't imagine.
I believe it's
think it is,
residential,
yeah.
but
We'll double check it.
But again, we spent probably a good 4 or 5
Your
months
land sales, do you
researching
wanna
this
check with?
and figuring it out. And we think it's a nice opportunity for them to, add quality housing into the city. To build
That's a
up the
no-brainer.
tax base.
As
And,
long as they're
and,
not taking away from the
oh,
football.
A lot of win-wins there.
like,
Just TFC.
And this is just my opinion. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I do too. I think that we should put it in there. It's not going to affect, the football team, so.
I don't know. I mean, even during construction,
Yeah,
But we were conscious that, you had, the existing building, you had the concession stand, you had the press box, football field.
right.
And that, you did need to have some room for everyone to form up and practice. So that's why we kind of shrunk the area.
Yeah, I guess my concern would be, and it really isn't a concern, moving in there, renting these locations, people are gonna be aware that you're gonna have teams playing on Sundays and practicing through the week, so.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you have a similar kind of situation build where it's near like some sort of athletic area. I thought you had mentioned that there was a similar, yeah, or that you've seen where,
Oh, well, we built, and on 370.
They don't use them currently anyways.
375 East Ferry, we built a 3/4 football field. And then we built a synthetic rink. We did that in conjunction with Burgess Park. And then we also have a veterans housing project, used to be a former YMCA. So we made that veterans housing. And if you go there now, it's a synthetic ice. So it's a polymer ice. You just throw your skates on, just start skating away.
that's cool.
Yeah. And then we built a 3/4 football field with that too.
All right. So, Councilwoman Don Cameron, I'm just gonna look into the rezoning question. So you're looking for approval from us just to kind of move forward.
Right.
Mr. Clerk, can you pull the council on Mr. Pollock's proposal and the council's desire to move forward?
I do
Are
have
we-
one question.
Are we
before you
gonna,
do.
are we
Do we
checking on
have-
the zone?
Oh, go ahead.
You
Yes,
need us to check on the zoning first, or?
I think Dawn can get back to us on it.
Yeah, I'll reach
Okay.
out to him tomorrow on that. My question is, do they have riparian rights there? Probably not, right, Rick?
I'm sorry, this says zone, we zone R2.
So it was rezoned.
No,
It needs,
residential.
yeah, okay. I'll find out tomorrow to confirm
Just
it.
double, we'll just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was that question? I apologize.
No, I just wanted to know if there was any water rights, riparian rights over there,
Oh.
but I don't believe
I believe there is.
There is. I'm
there is
sorry.
over there. Okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So do you plan on utilizing that space for these?
We'd like to, we'd like to be able to, put some, just, the aluminum docks inside there.
Okay, and I guess I'll find that out too, of how much frontage you'll have for that then.
Right.
That's a great question, Dawn.
Because who knows, I might move over there because I have a boat, I want to put it in the water.
He has a boat, I don't know, so. That's the best boat they have.
Yeah.
The only boat to have.
Great thought.
But again, I think, those that have worked with us, we've been very pro city of Tonawanda. We love 70 East Niagara, tenants love it. And we've got to know, a lot of the different owners around the properties, buyers and stuff. And we're in it for the long haul. And, again, the one thing that I think is unique from David and I's perspective is that we build it, we develop it, but we also manage it. So you don't want to ever be cheating on products and materials. You end up hurting yourself at the end. So, right.
I think the only other concern, and I think all the residents are gonna have the same concern, because we're going through the same thing with the Cuba, is the amount of influx of sanitary into the system. So 64 units is quite a volume,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I
It
mean,
all has to be, we all have to have the proper engineering. to it.
Sure.
So
I mean, I just-
we can't just demonstrate that.
yeah, I like building, believe me. And it's not, it's nothing to do with any of that. I just want to make sure that we're not gonna be, reeling as we move forward and then
I wouldn't be able to get a permit unless we were able to document it correctly. Well, in the case there is a hiccup, we just can't build.
Won't get to that point until we get through this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into doing what we do for a living, but this was critical to just get to this stage.
Any other comments on this? No? Mr. Clerk, if you could just pull the council.
Again, this is for the, is this for a direct, and I apologize, is this for a direct sale or are we? What?
I want to make sure that the council is in agreement with Mr. Pollock's proposal, but yes, and to move forward.
With the property that's where the ball fields are located on East Niagara Street,
Correct.
250 East Niagara.
250 East Niagara. Okay, again, pending on the zoning, we'd have to determine that as well. But the overall proposal, for those that are on the council, Newman,
Aye.
Cameron,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye. All right,
Thank you very much.
so we'll be in touch.
Okay, good. Thanks. Thank you. Want me to send it to you?
Perfect.
Okay.
And I'll send it off to everyone.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, then let's take a few minute break and then we'll come back on the floor.
Because this is currently,
Those individuals in the Zoom call will be putting you into the waiting room until the formal session begins at 7 o'clock. Again, the formal session will begin at 7 o'clock.
he changed it a little bit.
Yes, so right here.
Madam President, everyone has been brought in from the waiting room and we are
Thank you.
recording.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, it is 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting of the City of Tonawanda Council to order. Can you please call the roll?
Newman,
Here.
Cameron,
Here,
Rautenstrau,
Here.
Mylum,
Here.
Cook.
Here, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
It seems funny to be back after almost 2 years of not having a chaplain at a council meeting. And so blessed to be the first one to be invited to come back in person. The Lord has blessed us. He's brought us through this COVID pandemic and brought us back to some normalcy. So let us begin tonight's prayer in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord God, we come before you this evening with thanksgiving in our hearts, because November is the month of Thanksgiving. Tonight, we are thankful for those who have stepped forward to serve, and we are thankful for those who have served. We're truly blessed to have had Chuck Stewart as our fire chief, who has dedicated the majority of his life to serving the residents of our community as chief of the Tonawanda Fire Department and has announced his retirement. May you bless the Stewart family as they begin this new path that you have chosen for them. We're thankful that we have a qualified replacement for Chuck in newly appointed Chief Pat McNulty. We ask your blessings upon him and his family as he steps into his new role at the end of the month. Bless our fire and police departments and all of our Tonawanda departments for the great work they do in serving our residents. Keep them safe. We're blessed to live in this community where our residents take an interest in their local government and represent the voice of the community. Thank you, Lord God, for providing quality leadership, not only in the past, but also into the future. Bless the decisions of this council and Jenna as she leads us. Tonight, our hearts are heavy as we learn the loss of retired Tonawanda police officer and detective Mike Kenny, who served to protect the residents of our city and has now answered the call to join you in heaven. Bless the family of Mike Kenny, especially his wife,
who is suffering from Alzheimer's. Be a comfort to them as they take on the role of caregiver in Mike's absence. Finally, Lord God, we are thankful for our veterans who serve to defend our freedom. We're thankful for their service. May God bless you all as we remember our veterans on November 11th. May God bless the city of Tonawanda, this council, our mayor, and upon the decisions that are made here this evening. And may God continue to bless America. We ask all of these blessings in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Miles. Communications from the mayor have been ordered and filed. Communications from city officials and correspondents have also been ordered and filed. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public on the resolutions. We are not going into executive session. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so, and our clerk will call on you. For those that are joining us in person, on the resolutions, please approach the microphone. Any comments on the resolutions? Okay. Mr. Clerk, do you have any comment or any feedback from those that are joining us virtually?
Madam President, at this time, I do not show anyone from the Zoom call or have any comments on the resolutions.
Okay. Hearing none, let's roll.
Resolution number 1 by Councilmember Mylum.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Rounstrau.
Resolved that the common council minutes from October 19th, 2021 be accepted as filed.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Camerediner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 2 by Council President Cook.
Do we have a second?
I'd second that, Madam President.
Second by Ms. Camerediner.
Resolved that the 2021 general fund operating budget be amended to support the Vietnam veterans and to assist with the cost of the University of Buffalo Veterans Sleep and Health Study as per your agenda.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Camerediner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 3 by Councilmember Newman.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Rounstrau.
Whereas the city of Tonawanda seeks to participate in the 2022-2023 Erie County Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG. And whereas the city of Tonawanda held a public hearing for comments on the proposed projects for the year 2022 to 2023 on October 14th, 2021. And whereas the city of Tonawanda has agreed to submit a CDBG application for the year 2022 to 2023. And whereas the city intends to request the full grant amount of $100,000 and intends to fund the remainder of the project through funds allocated within general and capital budgets. Now therefore be resolved, Tonawanda Common Council authorizes the mayor to sign, submit, and execute a contract with the Erie County Community Development Block Grant Program for the following projects by priority. Number 1, Grant Street and Stark Street improvements. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Camerediner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 4 by Councilmember Camerediner.
Do we have a second?
I'd like to second that, Madam President.
Seconded by Mr. Rautenstrau.
Resolved that permission is given to Tonawanda's United Veterans Council to close the Renaissance Bridge on Thursday, November 11th, 2021, from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for the annual Veterans Day ceremony.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Cammerdiner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public following the resolutions. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so, and our city clerk will call on you. For those that are joining us in person, please approach the microphone. Any comments following the resolutions? Mr. Clerk, anyone wishing to address the council virtually?
Madam President, at this time, I do not show anyone in the Zoom call that wants to make any comments.
Okay, hearing none. Mr. Newman,
I have no comments. I'll reserve that for the next meeting. Thank you.
Ms. Cammerdiner,
I too will reserve all of mine until the next meeting.
Mr. Rautenstrau.
I do want to thank our volunteer auxiliary police and the fire police for their help on Halloween night. Thank all of my neighbors on Elmwood Park for participating and making a great turnout for everybody. It's a great night that happens every year. It makes it safe for every year. And I'd like to thank the chief for coordinating that as well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rautenstrau. Mr. Mylum.
Yeah, I'd just like to update everybody on the happenings at the landfill that runs behind Hackett Street. They're going to be starting their phase 2 of the capping project, which is actually the final phase. There's been great concern recently from many of the neighbors about the amount of water that's piling up in the backyard, some of them 3-4 inches, some of them 5-6 inches. And it's standing water, so there's quite a bit. Luckily, nobody's had infiltration into their basement yet. This project is going to start, memory serves me, relatively soon, next few months. And the company that's doing this is Ensol, and they're out in Niagara Falls. And they'll be relatively close to the property lines of the residents. And their hope is that 2/3 of the water that is currently being seen as runoff is going to be recaptured and redirected away from the houses. I hope that's the case, because it is, some of the folks up there can't even use their backyards. There's so much water in there. One of the other issues that they're going to try to do is very lightly grade out the existing land that's there to help assist the water in going away from the homes. And then last week I walked all the houses on Hackett, Wadsworth Court, just to kind of update them and give those folks an update as to what was coming. And the one thing that I've gotten the most calls on is there was a discussion of a potential fence being put up along the property. And most of the neighbors that I've spoken to are vehemently against having a 8-foot privacy fence put up. So I assured them that is just in the talks, that's not going to be happening until everybody gets their fair share or fair say on it. It was just kind of interesting that was the one thing that really stuck out. I will be sending, I created a website so that the residents could be updated and see kind of in real time what's going on. I will send that website over to the clerk along with the letter that I shared with all the residents. And maybe that site can be put on the city website or what, but it has been shared with all of the residents for them to actually see the plans rather than just seeing a copy of the plans. They can actually zoom in and see. If you're like me, my arm's not long enough to be able to see what's on my phone, so they can actually blow the plans up and see what they're looking at and what's coming for them. Other than that, I think the plan looks good. I don't have any other concerns. I just hope that this takes care of the water issue that is currently happening along. If you go and look, it's the ones where the dead end of Rogers is, and if you look to the left and look to the right, bring your fishing pole, because it's pretty deep. So hopefully this will correct that.
Thank you, Mr.
I think
Mylan.
that's it, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mylan. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to congratulate everybody that won election last night. I look forward to working with Mayor-elect White on ensuring that there's a smooth transition over so he can hit the ground running on January 1st. Also, at the next council meeting, please join us where we'll be celebrating Chief Stewart and the decades that he put in to the city of Tonawanda, and also swearing in Assistant Chief Pat McNulty. As I've said before, it was we had 3 really great candidates, and I felt like Pat was the best to replace the chief. They're awfully big shoes to fill, but I think Pat's gonna kind of make his own path and put his stamp on the fire department, much like Chief Stewart did. So please join us then. And last, I kind of went on a rant at the last meeting about, the city having to, and UB for that fact, having to put up money for a veteran study to get to the bottom of some of the issues that our combat veterans in Vietnam have to endure, as it being the federal government's job that they should be spearheading that. And as we come up on this Veterans Day, I always wear this bracelet. It says 22 a day. And it's 22 of my brothers and sisters on average kill themselves every day. And this country seems to always have the money for wars. They always seem to have the money to give the ultra wealthy and the corporations tax breaks. But there's never enough money to take care of the men and women who have served this country. And I hope that someday the bracelet that I'm wearing is a number that's significantly less than 22. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate our city treasurer and his wife for celebrating the anniversary today. So congratulations to the both of you. And for those joining us virtually, obviously you're not here, but the McNulty family has taken up most of our courtroom today. So I actually want to give you guys a shout out. Thank you for coming. You can camp out here until our next meeting, but Chief, we'll have more words for you at our next meeting, but thank you for bringing your family to see how, it's done here. So with that said, I ask that we adjourn in memory of D. Michael Kenny, who served the city. He was hired on December 28th of 1987. He was hired through our police department. He was promoted to detective on March 24th, 2008, and he retired on November 3rd of 2013. D. Michael Kenny recently passed away. So our thoughts and prayers are with the entire family. And I'd like to make a motion to adjourn in his memory. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam President.
Second by Ms. Cammerdiner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much.
For those on the Zoom call, thank you very much for joining us this evening, and
Oh,
we'll
I
see you in a
forgot
couple
to
of
show
weeks.
everybody this card.